Good morning, fabulous fourth grade. Today is April 15, 2020, and it's a wonderful Wednesday. We are going to continue with our online learning in our virtual classroom. Let me share the screen. So again, good morning. So today we're going to continue learning about photosynthesis. Our learning goal, repeat after me. I can identify the process by which plants make food, the structures they use to undergo photosynthesis, and the functions of those structures. Again, repeat after me. I can identify the process by which plants make food, the structures they use to undergo photosynthesis, and the functions of those structures. So the big idea is that plants are made of plant cells. Because they cannot go find food, they must make their own food. The process by which plants make food is called photosynthesis. Today, we are going to learn more about photosynthesis. So for a moment, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I had a scholar to ask me yesterday if the plants we see outside our neighborhood are the only plants that undergo photosynthesis. And the answer is no. In the world, there are different types of plants, different species of plants. And every plant has to make their own food because they cannot go find food. There are a few exceptions like the Venus flytrap. However, it is still a plant and it still has to make its own food, which is glucose, and that is its primary food source. So an example of other plants that make their own food, one example is, and Ms. Davis is not the best artist, however, I put in a lot of effort. So one example would be, the cactus. So the cactus is a plant and it lives in a dry climate and it makes its own food. When a plant makes its own food, it stores the water in its vacuoles, but because it is a plant, it still makes its own food. Another example of a plant that makes its own food is, if you could guess as I'm drawing, I know some of you have already guessed it, and you are right, a tree. So a tree makes its own food. It is a plant, and because it is a plant, we can say that it makes its own food. All right. A final example of an organism that makes its own food would be one of my favorite plants, and I actually gave her a name. I call her Tula. I call her Tula, and by her name, you may can guess what she is. And I'm going to use Tula a lot doing instruction for examples. And some of you may have already guessed it. Some of you may have not because Ms. Davis, again, is not an artist. Well, at least I'm not the best drawer, but I am an artist. So I'm going to kind of exaggerate her leaves just a little. But she is a tulip. So Tula the tulip. And she also is an organism that makes her own food because she is a plant. So one of our learning goals, I'm going to share the screen again. So one of our learning goals was, let's go back. One of our learning goals was I can identify the process by which plants make food the structures they use to undergo photosynthesis and the function of those structures. So let's address that second part, the structures that they use to undergo photosynthesis. So again, all plants undergo photosynthesis. Right? All plants undergo photosynthesis because they have plant cells. So Ms. Davis is going to draw a plant cell. Most plant cells are quadrilateral in shape. That means that they have four sides. All plant cells have a cell wall. And so the cell wall is the cell wall. So the cell wall is the outermost layer of a plant cell, and it decides what comes in and out of the plant. It's an important structure because the cell wall decides if water comes in and out of the plant. Where does the water go? Well, the water goes into what I'm calling the vacuole. So the vacuole is this large organelle here, vacuole. Tula loves her because she stores water and she also stores waste until Tula is ready for the water and the waste to come out of the cell. Well, so plants like Tula also need sunlight energy that they get from the sun. They get this sunlight energy through their chloroplasts. So the chloroplasts are the oval-shaped organelles that are on the inside of the plant cell, and they contain chlorophyll. So the chlorophyll is what captures the sunlight energy. I guess I'll write this one. Yeah, I'll write it over here. So the chlorophyll captures sunlight energy, and it's green pigment inside of the chloroplast. The last organelle that is extremely important in photosynthesis is the nucleus. Now, the nucleus contains an organelle called the nucleolus. So the nucleus is the brain of the cell, and it tells the cell wall what comes in and out. It tells the chloroplast, hey, I need you to capture that sunlight. And it tells the vacuoles, okay, I need you to get a little extra water because it's raining, right? So it's the control center, it's just the brain of the cell. All of these organisms have plant cells, and all of these organisms undergo photosynthesis. All right, so let's move on to the next part of the lesson. I'm going to share the screen again. All right, so again, our learning goal, I can identify the process by which plants make food. We just talked about the structures that they use to undergo photosynthesis and the functions of those structures, which is the jobs that they do. And we'll continue to learn more about it with the rest of the lesson. All right, and so the big idea, like we just said, plants are made of plant cells. Because they cannot go find food, they must make their own food. The process by which plants make food is called photosynthesis. Today, we're going to learn more about photosynthesis. Our big question, or our guiding question, essential question, is how do plants make food? Well, we're going to investigate this in Google Classroom using our resources. All right, so Ms. Davis has placed the assignment in all three classes. All right, so once you get to Google Classroom, you will look under your class. I'll start with Notre Dame, Indy. You'll go to the classwork tab, click classwork, and look for the topic photosynthesis. All of your topics are over here to your left. So you will look for the topic photosynthesis, and you will look for today's date. Same thing in Chicago State University. Classwork tab, look for today's topic, look for today's date. And then same thing for Michigan State University. Go to the classwork tab, look for today's topic, and then these are the assignments for today. And you could just click view assignment. All right, so then go to the instructions if it doesn't directly take you there. I wrote everything down for you. I typed everything down for you. The first thing that we're going to do, as always, is we're going to study the fab vocab. So you'll click photosynthesis. Now, yesterday, Ms. Davis went in and I changed the number of tiles they were, vocabulary tiles that there were. I wanted you to only focus on these 14, and I did condense some of the cards and add information from one card and put it on another. The idea is we want to make sure that we get as much information as possible and that we retain the information. All right, so I'm going to move this down here to the side. Let's work on our cards. I'm going to go all the way to the beginning. All right, so starting with the structures of the plant, and we'll talk about the plant structures more in detail tomorrow, but the stem is the part of the plant that provides support and it brings the plant closer to light. Why does the plant need to be closer to light? Because those chloroplasts need to be able to collect sunlight energy. The chlorophyll inside the chloroplast need to, and I need to write that down. So here I have the chlorophyll. Let me write chloroplast. Yeah, all right. So it needs to be able to collect sunlight energy. All right, roots. My turn, roots. Your turn, roots. So the root is the part of the plant where the water and the minerals enter the plant from the soil. And the root is also which holds the plant inside of the soil. My turn, leaf, your turn. So the leaf is the part of the plant where most photosynthesis takes place to produce the plant's food. Stomata, my turn, stomata, your turn. Stomata. So the stomata is a tiny hole in the leaves. It's tiny holes in the leaves of the plants where gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen and also water enter and exit. So water comes in the plant through the stomata, but it also leaves out of the plant through the stomata. A prime example would be in the morning when you're on your way to Promise Academy and you have your uniform shoes on, you're walking on the pavement and maybe your feet accidentally touch the grass. And you look down and your shoe is wet, but it did not rain last night and it did not rain that morning. The shoe is wet because the plant releases water through the stomatas, which are the little openings on the surface of the plant. All right, the next word, my turn, chlorophyll, your turn, chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is found in the chloroplast. It's a green pigment and it makes the plants green. And it also makes it possible for them to make food because it captures sunlight energy. All right. Chloroplast. My turn, chloroplast. Your turn, chloroplast. Chloroplast is the structure where photosynthesis takes place inside of the plant cell, and it contains that green pigment chlorophyll. Oxygen. My turn, oxygen. Your turn, oxygen. So oxygen is an important byproduct of photosynthesis. It's that colorless, odorless gas that animals like myself need to breathe. And at night, plants, they don't get carbon dioxide, a large supply of it from us, so they also breathe some oxygen, but their main source, the main thing that they love is carbon dioxide. And then carbon dioxide. So this material is needed in photosynthesis, but it's also produced by humans and animals. Sunlight. Sunlight. Energy from the sun that is used by plants to produce their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So we talked about energy when we were talking about the energy conversions or conservation unit. and how energy changes forms. It's never created, never destroyed. It just changes forms. So the sunlight energy is being used by the plants to create glucose. And the glucose, in turn, once it's stored by the plant, it's called chemical energy. And then glucose. So glucose, again, is the type of simple sugar that is made during photosynthesis. Water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide. In order for a plant to make its own food, it needs these three things from the environment. And again, that's the water, the sunlight, and the carbon dioxide. The water and the carbon dioxide, well, the water enters through the roots, and also through the stomatas. So like when it rains and the water falls down on some of the petals and some of the leaves, the water is absorbed into the vacuoles. Also, when it's not raining and just any other time, the water takes in, the plant takes in carbon dioxide through those stomatas. And the sunlight energy enters in through the cell wall to the chloroplast and is captured by the chlorophyll. Respiration. So it's the process by which plants, animals, and other living things use oxygen to carry out processes. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which a plant uses sunlight, we just talked about it, carbon dioxide, and water, also known as H2O. I know you know it, from the environment and its own chlorophyll to make its own food. And then the last one is the chemical energy we were just talking about. So the chlorophyll absorbs energy from the sun, which is sunlight energy, and then the plant stores it as glucose, which is chemical energy, in sugars and starches. All right, so after you go over your vocabulary 2 times, how many times? 2 times, you are going to play the match game. And Ms. Davis, trying to beat my best score because I got a 25.8. Try to beat it today. All right, let's go. All right, so chlorophyll absorbs energy from the sun, and then this is chemical energy, process by which plants and animals, respiration, All right, energy from the sun, that is sunlight energy. We'll come back to it, I don't see it. Oh, no. The process by which, tiny holes are stomatas. Get that off of there. Stomatas, no, other tiny holes, sunlight, energy, and leaf. Almost, one more time. I see you. All right, let's go. The part of the plant where most that's a leaf. Leaf. All right. Energy from the sun, sunlight energy. Structure where photosynthesis takes place. It contains, that's the chloroplast. Found in, that's chlorophyll. This material is needed for photosynthesis and oxygen. Boom, 23.9. I'm sure that you might be able to beat Miss Davis' score. I want you to play it until you become familiar with the academic vocabulary. All right, so once we have went over our fab vocab at least 2 times and played the match game at least 2 times, then I want you to watch the photosynthesis brain pop. I gave you the password for the photosynthesis brain pop. Here it is here, and here's the username, and here's the password inside of Google Classroom. Log in, and then once you log in, watch the video. Now, after you watch the video, you'll come back to Google Classroom, and you will put in your name, your email address. You'll answer all these questions. It's only 10 of them. And then you'll press submit. When you press submit, it'll automatically grade it for you. And then it'll tell Ms. Davis what you know and what I need to reteach you. All right. So once you finish watching the Brain Pop video using this username and this password here in Google Classroom, then you'll come back and you'll open up this Google form that says Brain Pop Quiz. Ooh, need to change that. And then after you're finished with that, those of you that have not completed your photosynthesis, the plant puzzle informational text, I need you to come back in and I need you to complete that informational text. All right. So, Fab Vocab, Brain Pop, username inside of the classroom, and then make sure that you do the quiz afterwards and the informational text. If you have any questions about anything pertaining to the lesson, you can feel free to email us. You can send us a message on Class Dojo. You can send me a message under today's feed, under today's lesson. I love when you ask me questions because that lets me know that you want to learn. Also, you can come back and look at this as much as you want to. And then tomorrow we'll pick up where we left off of today. Your teachers are available to you from 9 to 3. Continue to read, continue to log into Compass Learning and Zearn. Legends of Learning is also up. May the force be with you. Have a great day, promise. Bye.